Hello, everybody. Ken Faulkner, and I've got some of Ken's crazy knives here. Old knives from so long ago. I think I've talked a bit about how I'm a big fan of a kukri knife, and when I was a kid, uh, you could find these things at like liquor stores or gift shops, and I was just always drawn to knives. These are not the best quality. These are all coming out of India. And this is back in the 70s, 80s. And yeah, back then the quality wasn't that great, but I love these knives. And they've seen some good times. Uh, this one especially is just crazy, but you can see it's kind of wrecked over time. That sheath is just maybe one day, just for fun, I'll try to rebuild or make a new sheath for this thing. Just to, I kind of have a knife kit that I need to make up, and I need to make a sheath for it. It might be a good thing to just to practice on. So these are all in various levels of decay over the time, and this was like the first one I got, medium sized one. You can see this one's a little bit smaller, and this is the monster, and it's pretty well used. Kukris from Nepal, uh, India, I believe they've used them there. The uh, Gurkha warriors were famous and kind of made these knives famous. They are like a combination, in my mind, there's kind of a combination of a knife and an axe. And let's just take a look at this little guy. They are front heavy, so that really gives it that axe kind of feel. Not exactly the sharpest. This steel's not going to hold an edge anyway, but I've sharpened it over the years, um, and maybe I'll clean it up, give it a little TLC. But there's not much I could do about it. It's got all this kind of hand. I don't know if you call that. It's not really engraving, but punched. So they went through and punched in this design. It says India right there. This side's just plain. Handle's got some inlays in there. I don't know if this is water buffalo horn or what, if they traditionally would make these things out of, or some kind of wood. You can see it's like all kind of welded here on the pommel. This one's tiny. I mean, it's way too small. Maybe when I was a kid, maybe it fit in my hand a little bit better, but it's tiny. One-handed operation though. They got these little things here. I'm not really sure. I've heard like different things they say about why those are there. Don't really know, but it's a very common thing that you see on a kukri knife. So this is a pretty small little guy. I mean, as these kukris go, this middle one is more the size that I think I've normally seen. I added this cordage here to kind of hold on, because this thing fell apart, and I still wanted to put it on a belt, so it kind of held it in place when I was still using it. It's this one actually still, they all came with the ear knives, but this one is the only one that still has one of them, but you can see it's just like a little, it's a tore up. It's not in good shape. So this is not a fancy knife by any stretch of the imagination. The handle on this one's a little bit more to the size of my hand, and this is more, this one actually, you can see, has been used quite a bit more than the other ones. It also has that same India pattern on it, but it's definitely seen more use over the years, and it could definitely chop. I mean, it's kind of like an axe. You don't really need to have the sharpest edge on that thing, because it's got so much weight to it, and that forward portion of the blade, because of the fact that it's bent, as you're coming down with a chop motion on some wood or whatever, it's pulling into the cut, and so yeah, when it drops, it's coming down at that angle, and then that surface kind of hits nice and square, and it still has a little bit of an angle to it, so it does do a very decent chop. And then this last one is just I don't know what to say. This is indulgence. I probably paid, when I was a kid, I probably paid maybe between 20 and 40 bucks maybe for these things. This one definitely, the handle is big enough to fill my hand. And you can see it's got that same kind of pattern. They're probably made by the same company. This one doesn't say India. Well, it does right there. So this is probably all made by the same company way back then. Lots of blemishes on the blade. Wasn't really taken care of that much, but I mean, it was a cheap knife. It was all fun. I got my money's worth out of these things. You can see that little inlay in there, and the whatever material this is falling out here and here. Not a lot of quality, but I still love these knives, and I've always loved them. And and every time I see a kukri, it just has an emotional thing with me, and I really don't know for sure why. Maybe just from my childhood, but yeah, I mean, something about them, it just speaks to me. There was a knife that came out a while ago from Vosteed, which is this guy right here. I'm blanking on the name of it. The Nightshade, yes. The Nightshade, but yeah, it's got that kukri shape to it. Definitely not the full size, but it does have that pulling into the cut sort of effect from that leaf-shaped blade with that downward cant on the blade and the curve all the way across around the handle and the blade. So yeah, when I saw that these knives came out, I had to jump on that pretty quick, just because a lot of people say these are ugly knives, but for me, it's beautiful. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and that's true with knives. And I'm not going to go around telling everybody else what they should believe is a beautiful shaped knife or a good looking knife. But I don't want anybody else to tell me what I need to think about this knife. I really like it. And cutting wise, it really works really great. So the reason why I'm bringing out these old, dusty, from the garage type knives, not this one. This is just a folding version, but I have, like I say, I always eyeball these things, and I ended up recently going to a company. Here's a little, you can see a little preview there. A company that is famous for these kind of knives and other kind of knives. And here's some of the packaging that came with it. KHHI, Nepal. I think this is really, there's their trademark. This is really where you're going to get traditional kukris. When I've kind of researched a bit, there's a couple different places that are known to have like the good quality kukris if you really want to get a kukri. But look, they're all modernized. They got all their YouTube. They got all their Instagram. So yeah, this company is the website's right here, www.kukri. Now they're Kukri. They spell it KHUKURI houseonline.com. Or the kukrihouse.com. There's another one right there. I'm used to spelling it KUKURI, Kukri. So I don't know what the official is, but I'm not going to argue with these guys. I think they're more legit and knowing about these knives. Same thing on the other side. So this was all wrapped around this knife that I got from them. I ordered it on their website. Not bad prices, especially this one I got. It was like I think around $50 to $60. First time ordering from them, so I was a little nervous about it. As far as it coming so far and how the shipping was going to be. I think it took about a month, maybe a month and a half to get the knife. So it was one of those ones where it's almost like doing a pre-order where you kind of spend your money or whatnot, and then you wait and you wait and you wait. But it was only a month, so not too bad. Here's like a letter from them, the Kukri House. So they're, that's actually signed and things like that. Thank you. They really seem to really stand by their products. Heartily congratulations on the new ownership. Please enjoy the product. So anyway, if you want to take a screenshot of that or whatever to read it all, there's a lot there. But it just talks about how much they're, a little bit about them and about the pride they have in what they build. And I'm telling you, this, compared to these old junkers, this is a really nice kukri. Really nice. Not the nicest one they have. You can spend quite a bit, like well over $1,000 for a kukri. This one is more of a traditional military style that was on their website. It's wood handle. It doesn't have that that bone handle, but I heard a lot about the bone handle swelling a lot in different environments and cracking and things like that. This is just a beautiful handle on this knife. And you know, it's not totally like transitions, but still looks nice. I mean, you know, there's a little bit of offset there, but it's not bad at all. And let me pull this guy out. This leather. This is actually not leather. This is water buffalo leather. So it's a little different than your regular leather, but it feels really good. Feel good quality. It's got that traditional kind of tip. Some of these, this one's missing the tip. This one's still got it. This one is falling apart. It's like it's bending out. You got to kind of worry about that. But this one seems to be nice, good quality. This belt loop is not coming off. It's like riveted on. So let's break this guy out. And there it is. Now this one does have the pattern as well. You know, bring this across. I want to make sure I get a nice lighting on it. Cool designs. I'm a big fan of dragons. I was born in the year of the dragon, 1964, and I love Bruce Lee, the dragon. And dragons, you know, either Chinese or like dragons from more of a European type dragon. I mean, I've always been a big fan. So they got this cool design on there. Really nice. It's got that traditional little design. I forget what that's called or if it has a name. I'm not sure. This guy's sharp. I went to take this apart. It was wrapped and very oily when I got it. Wrapped in some saran, and I sliced myself up good when I bought it. When it finally came in. So this one's got an edge on it. And it's almost like it's like down to that zero bevel. I don't really see a micro bevel on that guy. So it kind of comes down to that zero concave. It's concave, you know, you're going to want that concave on something like this. If you're going to swing it and chop some wood or whatever, you do want to have that. So I think these guys are legit. I'm not the expert. I've read up a little bit, did a little studying on it, but as far as I'm concerned, from my experience and my knowledge, these guys are legit. And I will be ordering more knives from them. In fact, they have other knives. Donnie B All Day, you've heard me talk about him on the channel. They had that raffle for him. He designs knives, and he has sent designs to them to have them made. And there's some cool ones of his that I want to get a hold of. So you may be seeing those on the channel at some point. So, I mean, it's not perfect. There's little things about it. Handmade, you know, so it's not something that's production as far as I know. I mean, there may be some production elements to it because it's not a super expensive knife, but I think all this engraving is probably done by hand. And yeah, I love this. I love this thing. It feels good. I mean, the small handle for some of these other ones. This one even I think is even as big of a handle as that big huge one, but it swells at the back. So this is one where you're going to swing, and you're probably going to hold it back here and just kind of let it swing, kind of that katana kind of swing with that back hand. You know, when you carry it, when you swing a katana, you kind of are very light, and these last two fingers are really what's holding on to it, and you're guiding it with the other hand. So I feel that this one's kind of like that too, where you're kind of guiding it up here with this groove of your hand, but the back is where you're really holding on to that blade, and you can chop with it. It's got a good swing to it, and its heft. This one is much heavier blade stock. You can see the difference there. Donnie B all day was selling one that he had that had like a 1/2 inch thick blade stock. I think this is more along the lines of a 1/4 inch, but still, I mean, and it tapers down obviously when you get as you go. But man, that is some blade stock on that thing. And all of these I'll have that full tang all the way down the handle. It's kind of a full hidden tang type, but it feels solid. Haven't done anything serious with this one yet, but as soon as I get a chance, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to do something with it just to see what it feels like. I don't mind for the price, you know, doing a little work with this thing, and if it gets a little scratched up, not a big deal, but I will take much better care of this one than I have these other ones. It's definitely very cool. Now this one has the more traditional ear knives. There's 2 of them. One of them is a sharp blade, just a little backup kind of little knife for a little task, but this is like the difference between these old cheapies here and this. I mean, you can actually get a hold of the handle for one thing. It's a much sharper blade, pointier, obviously a better blade. And then the other one, and I really haven't tried to use it, but this one is flat here. And as far as my understanding, this is actually used for sharpening purposes, like field sharpening. So if you're a Gurkha warrior and you're out there, you know, in some kind of battle, you got your sharpener right there with you. Almost looks like you could do a bottle opener on that, but I don't think that's what it's for. But anyway, so 2 different knives, with each with its own purpose, but very cool looking. I mean, just those alone are very nice looking. I'm super happy about that. So anyway, that's one of my little passions in my knife collection. A little oddball thing. Probably not everybody has a bunch of kukris in their house, and probably not one quite this big. Maybe you do. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. And size comparison. There you go. You got it. The small little folder and a legit full-size military style kukri. All right, guys. Nice little bit shorter one. Happy about that. You guys take care, and I will see you on the next one.